Next up, Michelle Fallon is the Director of Communication Services Bureau for the Franchise Tax Board. FTB is essentially like a mini version of the IRS and is responsible for administering the Golden State's personal income tax and corporate tax. But Michelle is not here to talk about the tax code, but rather a groundbreaking multi-department effort aimed at curbing poverty in California. She'll be speaking about the new California Earned Income Tax Credit and how many hands went into launching this new program. And now I'd like to turn things over to Michelle.
Thank you, Russ. Good morning, everyone. God, come on, I know the coffee's still kicking in. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, I know. There's obviously some pretty cool things happening in California. These are two great examples that are kind of hard to follow. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are going to go get that Caltrans app? Yeah, how many of you wouldn't have been late this morning had you had that Caltrans app? Well, I'm not here to tell you about any cool apps. I'm actually here to tell you about an unlikely success story. It's all about how the state tax man, with the help from a lot of friends, got into the business of giving rather than taking. It's a story about saying yes to opportunity, overcoming challenges, and then finding friends along the way to help. But first, let me give you a little background. As Russ mentioned, I am from the Franchise Tax Board, and I don't know if you know this, but we are extremely popular this time of year. But hey, you know what? Here's a fun fact. Did you know that California provides 75% of the funding that runs this state every year? That means that we, in a big way, support the services in California that you both enjoy and those that you have learned to depend upon. You see, we are really, really good at bringing in money, but giving money away is really not our bag, except when it comes to refunding tax returns. But Governor Brown, in his infinite wisdom, along with the legislature, decided that we needed to learn a new skill set in 2015 when he enacted the California EITC tax credit. And this was no ordinary tax credit. This credit came with big opportunities and also big challenges. The vision of the governor was to use this credit as a vehicle to get money to some of the lowest earning taxpayers in California. It's what we call a refundable tax credit, and it's different than your just run-of-the-mill credit because with the regular credit, you're only given a refund up to the amount of the tax that you owe. But refundable credits are very different. If you don't owe any tax, you still get a refund on the amount of the credit. And his vision was to provide a little money for these families so that they would have just a little bit extra during this time of year to pay for things like groceries and rent and clothes and anything else they needed to make ends meet. It was designed to supplement the federal EITC credit, which had been around for a couple of decades and is administered by our friends at the IRS. Now get this, a family can earn up to $6,000 between both of these credits, and that's a pretty good chunk of change. I know what I would do with $6,000. So, for the first time in history, the tax man had the opportunity to help some of the most at-risk families in California, and we said yes. But big opportunities often come with big challenges, and this was no exception. The first challenge was operational. We've had credits before, and we've had no problem implementing them, but this was different for two reasons. First, we had to get our systems and our processes ready in about half the time that we normally take to implement something of this size. Second, we had to prepare for the inevitable influx of fraudulent returns that always accompany refundable credits. Our program and our IT folks worked really long hours to get our systems and our processes ready to accept and process tax returns. And I want to give a shout out to two of my good friends in the audience, Jennifer Russell and Mary Essen, who just got married and changed her name and I can't remember it. But they were the project managers who made that happen. That by itself was monumental, but it certainly wasn't our only challenge. We had another team at FTB running point on outreach efforts. You see, we knew that reaching our target group was going to be very, very challenging. These were the low-income families who worked long, hard hours, and it didn't even make enough money to even register for the requirement to file a tax return. So filing tax returns was so far off their radar, it might as well have been on another planet. And even when they became aware of the credit, here's another thing. They were nervous about filing because they were afraid they were going to lose their other state and federal credits. There was a huge general lack of both awareness and trust when it came to this credit. And we had about 2 months to overcome that before the beginning of the filing season. How in the world were we going to reach these families? Well, outreach to this target group was clearly going to take some mad skills that we did not possess. And this is where our friends come in, a group of very unique individuals representing government and nonprofits who all had one very important thing in common: to curb poverty by any means possible. Collectively, we called our friends the State Interagency Team Reducing Poverty Workgroup. Yes, I know it's a truly unfortunate name. But you know what? The name is certainly not even worthy of the incredible individuals who are coming from some of the organizations you see up on our slide. Honestly, I was humbled by their dedication and their commitment. For many of them, helping California's poorest families was their day job, and they were extremely good at it. These people had the mad skills we were looking for. They represented the trusted community partners who were already dealing with these families on a daily basis. And you know what? Our partnership with them paid off in spades. In a shockingly short amount of time, these partners helped us launch the Cal EITC for Me website. This included some truly amazing self-service apps for things like punching your dependents and your income, and up pops your credit amount that you could get. And once we got them excited about those big dollars, there was a place right on the website that would take them to another area that would let them apply for an appointment to get free tax preparation near them. This is the first time ever that all of these locations or opportunities were in one place. Before that, they were kind of siloed depending upon who hosted the group or who hosted the site. But now, just type in your zip code, and kind of like Caltrans, it's kind of creepy. Anyway, Caltrans, you type in your zip code, and there's a map that looks very much like what you saw earlier pops up. It has all the locations that are available, their hours of operation, and even appointment opportunities. There was no way we could have accomplished something like this on our own without the help of our partners. And this was really just the beginning. These same partners helped us spread the word through countless media interviews, social media posts, and ad buys. They also helped us develop and distribute thousands of brochures and posters across the state to raise awareness. They even manned an e-bus, which is a bus that's equipped with computers and Wi-Fi and volunteers who were there to help anybody prepare tax returns for free. You know, they say government is a slow-moving beast. But let me tell you, when you get the right people and passion in a room, you can do amazing things. In this case, the amazing things that we accomplished was to help 385,000 families file tax returns that claim a total of $200 million in EITC credit. On average, that's $500 for each family, which again, when you add the federal credit on top of that, some of these families were getting up to $6,000 just for filing their tax returns. But the real results are behind the stories, and those stories came to us from from our partners and from the volunteers in the field. Stories like Mary. Mary is a single mom, and she has a 5-month-old daughter. She is newly single. She happened to attend an event at a food bank hosted by one of our partners. She had never, ever filed tax returns before. A volunteer helped her fill out her returns, and she was astounded to find out that she was getting back $3,300. Mary broke down in tears. For her, this was like winning the lottery. She told our volunteer that with that windfall, she was going to go out and buy a car, and that she is now going to start looking for a job because she'll have transportation, and she'll be able to take her daughter, her new daughter, to her doctor's appointments without having to rely on public transit. There were countless stories like this one. Real families whose lives were positively impacted by a governor and a legislator with a vision, coupled with a bunch of passionate people who are willing to band together to make that vision ground to reality. This is what happens when government says yes to opportunity, when we work together quickly and creatively to solve problems and overcome challenges. And most importantly, this is what happens when you learn to leverage and trust the expertise of those who have the mad skills and the drive to get things done. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Great presentation.